Hello and welcome back. I'm Shannon. I'm a homeschool mom of 3. I am just a woman on a mission trying to make my life easier. If you were with me at my last video, you saw how I meal plan. In there, I had mentioned that I do freezer meals. And after editing and watching that video, I thought, why not share those recipes with you? So today, I'm going to compile our favorite freezer meals and put those together for you, show you what I do. The special thing about all these recipes is not only are they kid approved, but these are the meals that my kids ask for on a regular basis. Normally when I meal plan, I will cook dinner for that day and I will just make extras. I'm not one to set aside a whole day of cooking and do that. I get bored, I don't enjoy it. I like just doing it when I'm doing it, and then eventually they start to add up. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to do that for you today. I did already film my taco soup recipe, so I will show that to you. We actually had it last week, and I went ahead and stopped what I was doing to film that for you guys so I could put that in here. And so we will go ahead and cut to that. Enjoy. One of our favorite meals during the winter is tortilla soup. I have spent years and years and years perfecting this recipe, and I think I finally have it the way I want it. So I'm gonna share it with you today. My assistant here, Grace, is going to be helping me. I usually double or triple this recipe. I just fill my crock pot up as far as it will go and I'll cook it. We'll usually eat it that day, and then I will separate the leftovers into freezer meals. This freezes up really easy, so you have something on hand that you just have to thaw out and cook on a nice chilly day. For starters, we're just going to fill in chicken breasts. I just use frozen chicken breasts, and I usually just fill that up probably about 3/4 of the way.
Wow, look at this one.
Now that is a big chicken breast. We also have another helper joining us today, Ella. Ella, will you please drizzle in some olive oil? I take my chicken bouillon. This gives it lots of flavor. It also has natural salt content, so I use it as my salt. It's really difficult to overdo. Then we sprinkle in some garlic powder. Grace, sprinkle in the garlic powder. I don't measure for this recipe. It's really hard to overdo the spices because we fill it with water and it gets really diluted. Ella is going to put in the ground cumin, and we're gonna dump a healthy amount of that too.
Looks like a pile of dirt.
And then just take some pepper. Then we just fill up the rest with water. Okay, that's it. It's so easy just to assemble and put it together. So it's basically just chicken broth, spices, and then you cook that on low for all day. We'll eat, it's 9:45 a.m. right now. We'll eat somewhere around 5:36. So you just cook it low and slow. When you are ready to eat, you just take the chicken out of the crock pot and cut it into bite-sized pieces. It's okay if it shreds a little. We like it bite-sized and we like it cubed. You can also just shred it up in your mixer and put that back in. Okay, and here are some of the toppings that we offer. We don't add any of these in because some people like it, some people don't, and this way everyone gets to customize their tortilla taco soup. So we have mozzarella cheese, sour cream, corn, black beans, some Tostinos tortilla chips, and any tortilla chips will do, onion, and avocado. The kids love the cheese and avocado. You know, you can pretty much dump in any vegetables that you like, but these are our favorites. So I'm sitting here editing the this video and I get to the next recipe and I just jump right in and don't even mention what recipe I'm making. So, the next recipe I present to you is Swedish meatballs. Let's get to it. So before I begin, I like to label my bags and also put the instructions on there just in case I'm not the one making it. These are great because you put them in the Instapot for 7 minutes. You just have to thaw it out enough to get it in the pot. You can also put it in the slow cooker or the crock pot if you don't have a pressure cooker. So this is a very convenient, easy meal. Most all of us have one or the other. So I'm gonna get the rest of my baggies labeled. And now we can fill them up. So I've seen on Amazon, they do sell little baggie holders that you can buy that hold your Ziploc bag open. However, don't feel like it's necessary at this point. I just grab whatever bowls I have on hand and I flip the bag inside out a little bit. So if any drips outside the bag, it'll land on the inside of the bag. And then I just put it in the bowl like so. And it does a fine job holding the bag open without spilling over. Okay, so the first thing the recipe calls for is a can of cream of mushroom. I only have 2 cans. Yay for being prepared. So we're gonna split the 2 cans between all 3. You gotta try and not stress when it's not perfect, because that's just gonna hold you back. Nobody's gonna know that those were 3/4 of a can each. Next, the recipe calls for 2 cups of beef broth in each container. Again, I have 4 cups. I guess I was only planning on making 2, but I'm gonna make the ingredients stretch on this one. So I have 4 cups, so I'm just gonna split this between the 3. I'm not even gonna add water because this recipe does at the end call for sour cream and I leave that out. And that usually thickens it up a little bit. So I'm not gonna add the extra difference in water to these. Then it calls for sliced mushrooms. My kids despise mushrooms. So despite my husband and I loving mushrooms, I'm gonna leave the mushrooms out, but you can add those. I'm going to put this recipe in the comment section below. It's from Six Sister Stuff. They have a whole bunch of freezer meals. I've tried a few of them and they're always delicious. Next, we're gonna take our diced onions and split those up. My kids don't like onions either, but if I cut them up small enough, they don't mind them too bad. And if they're really picky, they can just pick them out. So we'll split those. So that was 1 giant onion split between the 3. Next, it calls for a teaspoon of garlic powder. We love garlic powder, so I'll just eyeball that. To me, you can't overdo garlic powder. And we need 2 tablespoons of steak sauce. That adds a really nice flavor. Then we have half a teaspoon of paprika. Again, eyeballing it, and half a teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of salt. I really go light on this because between the chicken broth and the condensed soup and the meatballs themselves, it's pretty salty already. So I go pretty light on this, or I just leave it out. And last but not least, we have a half teaspoon of pepper. To me, pepper is so underrated. It adds a lot of flavor, but it never gets honorable mentions. And that's it for the ingredients. Now we just add our meatballs. These are pre-frozen. Get them in the freezer section at Walmart, and you just put 1 bag per Ziploc bag.
Just feel
After you're done mixing it all together real good, you try and get as much air out of it as possible. Lay it flat and stick it in your freezer this way, and this way you can stack up your freezer meals and it makes them really easy to go through and find. So we're going to finish the other two up real quick and then we will be done with that. I also did want to mention when it's done cooking, it calls for a cup of sour cream that you can mix in. Well, the first time I made this, I forgot it. And we did not miss it. So every time I make it, I just leave it out. I don't need the extra calories. We don't miss it. So yeah, so if you're looking to save a few calories and you want to leave that part out, you're more than welcome to. We like to serve this over either egg noodles, we'll do mashed potatoes. It just depends on what kind of mood we're in. If I feel like making the mashed potatoes, we'll do that. If not, I'll just boil up some egg noodles and everyone's just as happy. My son, who is 3.5 years old right now, he's going through a no protein stage. I don't know if your kids ever went through that, but for whatever reason, he's really picky on the meats that he eats. I mean, we're talking not even chicken nuggets. One day he was trying to fight me on this, and I finally got him to try it, and he loved it. He just could not stop putting them back. So if it's Eric approved, I'm pretty sure your kids will like it, okay? No guarantees, but that's how good this recipe is. If you're gonna try any of these recipes, this is the one to try. All right, I'm gonna go put these in the outdoor freezer and I will be right back. Okay, this next recipe is one that I have been making since I was a new mom. And it's just one of my family's favorites. Chicken pot pie. It's hearty, it's satisfying. It just does something for your soul. I got this recipe from my friend Tamara Straight. Tamara, if you're watching, yes, I still use this recipe. I love it, my family loves it, so thank you. So first you start off by getting your shredded chicken. You can use a rotisserie chicken. I like to just throw frozen chicken breasts into the pressure cooker, do it for 25 minutes, and be done with it. It's super easy just to get some shredded chicken that way. Then you wanna get these refrigerated pie crusts. I know it's easy to make your own pie crust. We're keeping it simple. These are found in the biscuit section of your grocery store. You wanna let them sit on your counter probably 30 minutes to an hour before you use them. That way they can kind of come down to room temperature. It makes them a lot easier to work with and keeps them from cracking. Hopefully we don't have any cracking today. Take the lid off there. Those chicken breasts shrink so quickly, or so much. Do you remember how big those were? You don't really need a lot for this recipe, so we will get by with 2 casseroles with just this amount of chicken, because we're gonna add vegetables, we're gonna add canned soup, and it'll be fine. You're gonna love this even more because we make everything in this pot. So this is the only dish that gets dirty for 2 casseroles. 2 casseroles! All right, so I'm gonna drain off some of this chicken broth. I like to keep some of it. It just helps everything mix together, the warm juices. I don't use a strainer or anything. I just pour out some and just leave a little bit on the bottom. All right, we're gonna begin by taking our chicken out of the pot and just setting that aside for now. Because we're making 2 casseroles, we're gonna need 2 cans of cream of chicken soup. Let's not pretend. You're also gonna need 2 cans of cream of potato. Next, you're gonna mix in your vegetables. Today, I am using a bag of peas and carrots and a bag of corn. Just dump that in. And we're gonna give that a mix. also going to add a little bit of garlic powder, black pepper. I'd probably say about a teaspoon of that. Mix that together. See, once you mix all of that stuff in, it really bulks it up. So you really don't need to use a lot of your meat. This is a great money saving tip too. Next, we're gonna chop these up into bite-sized pieces. I have a 3.5-year-old, so I try and cut it up small enough for him. Maybe slightly bigger than the peas and carrots. That way, when you take a bite, you get a little bit of everything. You can also put your chicken in a mixer and mix it up, but I am super funny about shredded chicken. I don't mind it shredded up a little bit, but for some reason, if it's too shredded, it just gives me a weird texture. So I prefer to cube it. If it shreds a little bit, that's quite all right. I just don't like every single bite to be shredded and stringy in your mouth, you know? Hopefully I didn't ruin shredded chicken for you. You can also take a chef's bite at this point just to make sure it doesn't need anything. That's good. All right, now all that's left is to assemble. So I start with these pre-frozen pie crusts. I get the extra deep pie crust from Walmart. And you see this made up quite a bit of filling. I actually think we might have too much, which is okay. If I have too much, what I'll do, depending on how much I have, I'll put the filling in individual containers and I'll eat them for lunch. I'll put them in the freezer and then I'll just heat them up when the kids are having something a little less healthy or something that I'm not crazy about. If I have a lot, like this, I may save it and make a third pie. Get the ingredients for another third pie and add it to it. Then I take my pre-rolled crust. This one's not wanting to cooperate. That one's split on me, that's okay. You can tell it's a little thin in the center. And you just lay that over the top, and then I just come in and I tuck these in and just make the crust nice and thick. It's not super pretty, but it works. I'm gonna cut some slits to let any air out during the cooking process. And I really butchered that, oh well. So I'll stick that in the freezer. And then the day before I cook it, I take it out, I put it in the freezer, let it thaw for 24 hours. When it's time to cook it, I will spread a little bit of butter over it, pop it in a 375 preheated oven for about 35-40 minutes, just until it gets nice and brown and golden on the top. Now let's finish this one. Adding foil to it. I do take the foil off before I cook it. If you're worried about your crust burning, you can leave it on, but I find I don't really have that issue with it burning. You can always put the foil back on if you see that it's burning but not done. All right, so we're gonna label. I'm gonna go ahead and just put this in a Ziploc bag for another day.
Stay one more night. I'll be by your side. Just stay. Just stay.
Okay, I'm gonna go run these out to the freezer. I'll be right back. I can't tell you how good it feels to have home-cooked meals ready to go at any given moment in the freezer. The first time freezer meals came on the scene for me was when I had my first child, Grace. We were in South Carolina and my in-laws came up to visit us from Texas. My mother-in-law had made 30 freezer meals. 30 freezer meals. They were all stacked up in those Ziploc baggies. And I was mind blown. I'm sure that was a lot of work, but even to this day, I tell her that was the best baby gift because, you know, the first week or two, people bring you nice hot meals, which is lovely and definitely very helpful. But when the new baby craze kind of dies down and it's just you and your family, and you're still tired, you're still in the newborn rut, and you go out to the freezer and you have meals ready to go for those days that you're just too tired to cook. So even to this day, I tell her that was hands down the best baby gift, the most thoughtful baby gift that I have ever received. And I've had 3 babies. So not to say that no other baby gift was great. They were, but that was just one that, it was such a lifesaver. All right, well, those are my kid-friendly freezer meal recipes. I just made 5.5 meals for the future that I don't have to do. That probably took me a total of an hour and a half with filming. So if you have any freezer meal recipes that are kid-friendly and kid-approved, I would love for you to also put those links down below. And I'm sure other viewers would also like to see those. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you'd like to see more of these. I can share more family-friendly recipes with you guys if you like this. And other than that, I hope y'all have a blessed day. Go say something kind to yourself, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.